It's a new year, and with that we have the new Vindicator. The Vindicator Rework hit live servers a little over a month ago, and it's really made me enjoy Vindicator again. It feels fresh and has a new ways to enhance its key feature, the dodge. It'll have you feeling addicted, just like I was when I spent the last of my gold on a miracle. But how viable is it really? Let's go ahead and find out. For those that don't know, Vindicator received a rework to 3 of their master traits. All of these traits affect how the interaction with the F2 skill, Energy Meld, behaves. Reaver's Curse was made to reduce the cooldown of Energy Meld by 50% and then enhance your next dodge, granting you either bonus damage or effects. Anderson's Trust is all about energy, by removing the energy cost from Energy Meld entirely and instead granting you energy for using it. That's a whole lot of energy. A Song of Arboreum is the new support option and will cause Energy Meld to grant increased endurance as well as share this endurance gain with allies around you. Because all 3 of these traits affect Energy Meld in some way, Energy Meld is no longer a dead button and now offers some usage for better or for worse. In PvE, the role of a Vindicator is primarily as DPS and dealing as much damage as you can. You don't really provide any important boons, and what you really do bring to the table is just damage. With that in mind, Reaver's Curse is way too good to pass up in PvE. An 100% increased damage bonus on your death drop every 10 seconds, because we do get a cooldown reduction on it, is just massive for any rotation that takes itself seriously. So Reaver's Curse pretty much just locks you into that because it is such a powerful trait. Now I will say that I did experiment a bit with Anderson's Trust in PvE, and it does have a place, I will say, in low intensity builds, being able to get more energy out so that when you are in Shiro stance or any other stance, you have more energy to just camp that stance and just have less swapping in general. It makes the build a whole lot easier to play by pressing one extra button and not having to stance swap as much. So there is that playstyle if you do enjoy that, but overall Reaver's Curse is going to be the premier pick in PvE more often than not. In PvP, Reaver's Curse isn't really that good because it actually gets neutered pretty hard in this game mode. You only get access to 25% of that damage increase, not the full 100. So for that reason, I feel that Anderson's Trust is just so much better. It is miles ahead of Reaver's Curse or the other option, just because that extra 25 energy gain on top of the endurance that you're getting is massive for PvP. And believe me when I say 25 energy is nothing to scoff at. 25 energy allows you to access combos that were only previously available on Core Rev, having that extra energy gain on their F2 skill. Yes, there is some power creep here, I'm sorry Core Rev players. There's just so many more options that you have now. This is a huge buff to power builds, especially Power Vindicator, which is a build that was already doing good. Now it's made even stronger with this build. You're able to stun break in Shiro stance and still have energy to deal damage, as well as have more energy in Alliance stance if you need more cleanses, more defense. Power Vindicator just got a massive buff with this, but power is not the only variant that got made stronger. Condi Vindicator is a thing, it does exist. Let's stop pretending that it doesn't. It's actually a really good build in most game modes. Condi Vindicator has gotten some nice buffs with this. Being able to activate more abilities in Malix stance is huge, because Malix is a really good legend stance, having access to Boon Rip, CC, and the elite skill, which does a lot of pulsing damage. I found myself able to be super disruptive and just stun lock multiple opponents at a time by using Short Bow 5, Malix Sleep, waiting for the cooldown, Malix Sleep again. There's just a lot of fun to be had in this. There's just a lot of options that we have never seen before on Vindicator. In Worldly World is where we have multiple different traits that could work, because we have 3 different builds in this game mode for Vindicator, with that being Roaming, DPS, and Support. Yes, support is a thing in this game mode, which I wish it was across the other ones, but hey, no alacrity, no quickness, what can you do? But regardless, the Vindicator will swap in and out of these traits depending on which role they are fulfilling in this game mode. Starting off with the support role. Now, as a healing Vindicator, your job is to upkeep a few boons and also heal. Now, the way you can do this is by slotting into Song of Arboreum, which will allow you to give your vigor and endurance to allies around you, which is pretty nice in Worlds, seeing as how extra dodges is always nice to have. With that being said, however, this trait is significantly weaker in competitive game modes, seeing as how it only grants you 10 extra endurance, not the full 40 like it does in PvE, as well as the boon duration being cut down by a few seconds. Now, while this isn't a huge deal, it does impact the viability of the trait, seeing as how it isn't at full power. But we do have a second option here, with Reaver's Curse. Now remember how I said Reaver's Curse is cut down and neutered in competitive game modes? Well, apparently that's only for the damage version and the boon version. The healing version is actually at full power, so by using Reaver's Curse, you'll be able to use Energy Meld and enhance your healing dodge by 100%, meaning that you can have a juiced up healing and barrier dodge every 10 seconds. I feel like that's pretty strong, and it does give you a few options between, do I want to give boons and endurance, or would I rather have more healing and barrier? That is a very nice interaction to have whenever you can have multiple options in one particular build. The nice thing about Support Vindicator is that it can actually utilize Anderson's Trust as well, meaning you can use all three of these traits. For DPS Vindicator and World v World, things are a bit different from the PvE version. Now Reaver's Curse isn't the default option here because it only enhances death drop by 25%. What this means is that you have a 25% increase on an ability that you don't really deal damage with all the time. You will not always be dealing damage with death drop, and the window for it is only 10 seconds, so you have to press this button right when you are going in for damage, and it won't always pan out the way that you expect. Now for more consistency, you could run Anderson's Trust and getting more energy, meaning that you can have more upkeep skills, more damaging abilities, you know, all that good stuff, just more damage in general. Moving on from World v World, let's talk about the open world. Now in open world, Reaver's Curse is the default option just because you are at full power with that 100% damage increase on death drop. What this means is that you can play this with the fun Vindicator build with the stamina sigil and just spam dodges and kill anything underneath you. You know, that really fun open world build that most Vindicator players enjoy. And you can now enhance your dodge to deal with some harder mobs, get those resets more consistently. Although most of the changes made towards Energy Meld and Vindicator as a whole have been pretty good, there are a few faults with this that have actually came to light now ever since this rework came out. Starting us off is Energy Meld. Now Energy Meld is a bit of a weird button because it has a cast time. Now because of this cast time, your rotation for DPS just feels very wonky now. Having to press this in between your damaging abilities to get a souped up dodge, yeah, you still do the same amount of damage as you did before, if not a little more, but it just feels clunky. You're having to stop and cast that button for half a second and then do damage. The whole timing of it is kind of off now, and honestly I wish that Energy Meld, at least in PvE, had no cast time. I feel like that would make it feel a lot smoother and wouldn't break balance too much. Another topic is with Anderson's Trust and power creep. With Anderson's Trust granting energy plus endurance, Core Revenant doesn't really have an identity anymore. There is no point in their F2 skill whenever you can do the same thing that they do and get endurance, which is arguably a lot better. Now with that being said, please do not take out the endurance gain on Anderson's Trust on Energy Meld. Please do not do that. Instead, I don't really know what they could do. Probably just change the F2 on Core Rev or just make it stronger. In total, the Vindicator Rework is strong. It is a huge buff to the spec as a whole. It makes it feel that much more complete. If you're enjoying the new Vindicator, let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.